13 things that Brits think are normal, but Americans find strange. So I've done a video like this, but the other way around. So things that Americans think are normal that Brits find strange. And I've always wondered, like, what would be the things when if you flip the coin? Like, I'm trying to think, like, things that we do over here that I can't really think of any, if I'm honest with you. Like, there's maybe a few things that maybe Americans will kind of like aren't used to, like roundabouts and things like that, but things that Americans would outright find strange, I can't think of any.
Guess what this item is? If you're British, you're probably thinking, well, that's a bit of a silly question. And if you're anyone else, you're probably thinking...
it's Tupperware, isn't it? Or like
maybe some sort of a storage container? Well, my name is Evan Edinger, and after living in the UK for over 12 years now, there are still things I learn about British culture that make me go, huh? Why? So after I found this Ask UK thread on Reddit, I was like, you know what? I need to investigate. These are the things that Brits think are normal, but everyone else probably finds weird.
Let's go.
Right off the bat, we have washing up bowls.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't use one of these. My family don't use these either to wash. Yeah, no, no.
I've seen Americans lose their mind over them. Yeah, this American has actually. As soon as I saw this in the thread, I was like, what are washing up bowls? I asked my partner, what the heck is that? She tries to explain it. I'm like, what? So essentially, Brits like to use these in their sink. You put this mini sink in your sink as a way to wash up some pots and pans and things. Now, the argument I've seen against American style is Americans just run the tap forever, and therefore it's a waste of water, whereas if you just fill water, it's way better for the environment. Or you could just put the plug down, right? Am I crazy? I've seen, this way you can keep your sink cleaner. You're just replacing one for another. There's nothing superior about this in the slightest. And also the whole argument of, it saves water. It actually doesn't. Washing your dishes in the sink uses so much more water than the superior alternative, throwing them in the dishwasher. Now, obviously not everything can fit in the dishwasher, but I can't fit my big pots and pans in here though. Those are the only things I'm not putting in the dishwasher, and this is just useless. The only time I can see something like this being actually useful is if I was living in maybe the 1950s and I didn't have running water at that time, maybe. Or on a camping trip. Camping trip, you get one of these with sudsy water and one of these with clean water to rinse.
Honestly, I'm in full agreement here. Like, just wash them in the sink. Like, I cannot think of why you would use this. It just adds a lot of hassle. And honestly, I've never seen my friends use this either. I think maybe this is very old-fashioned. Maybe something, older Brits do. But yeah, I've never seen this before.
This makes sense because you don't have quick access to running water. So you have to go all the way to a nearby spigot, get some water for filling both of these up, then you're good. But if you're living in a modern home and you've got a sink, this is a cute thing to remind you of the past, but I think it needs to stay in the past, okay?
I agree.
Washing up bucket, washing up bowl. That's not a bowl! Have you ever seen a bowl this big? No. It's more a bucket than a bowl, I tell you that. British people never seen a bowl in their lives, I swear to God.
All right, next up, we've got squash. And no, this isn't referring to the gourd.
Hold on, you guys have this. It's like you make juice out of it. So you put a little bit of squash, you dilute it with water. You guys definitely have this.
We do have those all around the world. But this is referring to this right here. Basically, any sort of liquid, a cordial or very strong concentrated liquid that you pour into water to essentially make your water not taste like water. Someone says it's ubiquitous in the UK, but so incredibly uncommon literally everywhere else I've seen. Now, the American equivalent of this, for the most part, is Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid is powdered for very much the same thing, the only difference being because Kool-Aid is a powder, its first ingredient is sugar, I think second's probably fructose. It's got some red 40 in there, which, is banned in the EU for multiple reasons. I've made a video about that. But most Brits I know really do love squash. They have quite a nice relationship with it. I have never once cared about it until I bought some the other day just to experiment, and I went, oh, it is really nifty. Just pour a small amount in a cup of water, and then you've got this nice vitamin C-filled drink.
It's kind of like a healthy version of a soda, because you can choose how much squash you want to use to make your juice. So if you just want a little bit of sweetness, you can put like basically a tablespoon worth, and you can get like a whole glass of like juice.
I get enough vitamin C. I eat fruits now. So, I mean, I guess if you're someone that has an aversion to the taste of, you know, water, then this is fine. But for me, I don't really need any of this. I stick to drinking water. Should I do I'll show people what it's like. People are like, what's this like? Look at me, squash man. I will say this is not my favorite squash I've ever had. This one isn't as strong or concentrated. I do prefer the standard Ribena ones, but.
And also, you're meant to put the squash in first.
Yeah, I mean, it just tastes like a sweet juice type thing, but it's cheap and it keeps forever, so it makes sense. There are some former UK colonies that do have squash or squash adjacent products, but for the most part, you get another point there, Britain. All right, we need to move on to some spicier things. Next up, Christmas crackers, although I think they're becoming more popular overseas. Yeah, this is one of those that does blow Brits' minds when they find out it's not a thing outside of Britain.
Really?
Growing up in the States,
wow.
Never heard of these. In fact, I saw them for the first time at a Christmas work party after like 3 or 4 years of living in the UK, where everyone just pulled them out and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, what do you mean? You don't know? So essentially, it's not a cracker that you eat for Christmas, it's a firecracker in a way.
You don't have these in America? You pull at Christmas and there's like a little prize in the middle? Wow.
Inside of a tube that you pull, and inside of it, you got some sort of prizes inside. Basically, you sit around the table, everyone crosses their arms like this, and you hold one, and at the count of 3, it's like pulling a wishbone. All of them go pop. And inside, you end up finding a party hat. Those go for millions, and I think billions at this point on RuneScape. You also got a bad joke inside of it, and some sort of toy that will just end up in a landfill. Some people end up getting 2. I always end up winning somehow. I'm winning at Christmas! British people love this tradition. They do it every single Christmas. It's like a big to-do. You wear the party hat. My head's so large that it just rips as soon as I put it on. Everyone laughs, I cry. That's the Christmas tradition. I'm fairly certain this is a thing that has not moved over across the pond. It is a fun little tradition. I just don't really necessarily care for it because I didn't grow up with it.
This is it. Like, if you didn't grow up with it, I get why you would think this is like bizarre, but I think it's a nice little thing just to add to the Christmas Day spirit, you know?
Understand it, just, you know, not for me. The Christmas crackers themselves just go into a landfill. The party hats, you just bin them. The toys, very useless. The joke, okay. But I don't know, I just feel like it's a big waste. Bad takes, hot takes. All right, another thing Brits find normal that everyone else finds weird, subscribing to my YouTube channel. That's not true. Everyone loves that around the world, actually. Oh, this one's interesting. Next up, we have, it's a bit dark, but the length of time before a funeral when someone dies. In Spain and other countries, the funeral will be the day after the death, especially since COVID, it could be a couple weeks or more easily in the UK. Yeah, interestingly, I would say the UK and the US are very similar in this regard, in terms of when someone passes away, the funeral can be a week, can be 2 weeks, sometimes can be 3 weeks, take some time to organize these things. I do know that, for instance, Ireland is very different than the UK in this regard, in that when someone dies, it's like very fast. Within 48 hours, you've got a wake where everybody like goes to the house of the deceased, and then you have the funeral the next day. Very, very, very fast. As someone said, it's also supposedly this fast in Spain. But in the UK, there's a lot more time in between. You know, when you find out someone dies, you have time to visit and figure all that out. Luckily, I have not known anyone to die in the UK that I would attend their funeral for, so this is not something I've experienced, but I guess that might be weird for other people. Correct me if
I guess, yeah. I mean, because if it's going to be quick after death, there might not be time to, like, you know, get the time off work and stuff like that. If it's like a week or 2 away, people can get the time off, can't they? And more likely turn up for the funeral.
I'm wrong, Americans, but is it not normal to have like a week or 2 after someone dies for the funeral? That's my recollection.
Yeah,
All right, next up, things Brits think are normal, everyone else finds weird. I love having carpet. I have never understood this whole thing that popped up in the early 2000s of removing every fiber from the floor and showing that it's noisy, easy to scratch, and expensive to replace. Man, you're really trying to find some sort of negative.
This is so true. Like, wood flooring became so popular, like maybe in the early thousands, but it's so noisy. Like, you know, it looks nice, don't get me wrong, but you can hear everybody's footsteps, like click, clack, whereas a good thick carpet, it insulates the noise, it feels nice on your feet. Yeah, I just think carpet's better.
For a hardwood floor, what the hell? Plus, carpet feels warm, acts as a sound deadener, and is easy to take care of. Don't get me wrong, carpet in a kitchen is no, same with the bathroom. Okay, so I would say this person has just a bad take. I do have carpet in this room and in my bedroom over there, and I would say carpet isn't as big a thing in many countries that I visited. I just came back from Vietnam and Cambodia. I don't think I saw carpet in any room of any place I went.
Wow.
I also went into some people's houses. Just broke and ent. It's like breaking and entering, but past tense and contracted. From my experience traveling, I've not really seen carpet in many other places, but yet again, this is a case where the US does have lots of carpet. I do just want to say though, from my personal opinion, carpet is trash. It's basically a moth buffet. And rather than have edge-to-edge carpet that you can no longer control, it costs money to replace, and moth buffet, you can tell I've had experiences. You can just have a nice hardwood floor with an area rug. Makes way more sense. This person, get out of here. Oh, here's an interesting one. Americans who have been watching Bluey are mind blown about Pass the Parcel.
Oh yeah,
It's not as
we did this as kids. So basically, you'd get like a gift and you'd wrap it up in several layers of like wrapping paper. Each kid gets to like peel off a layer of the wrapping paper, and obviously the one who gets the prize keeps the prize.
ubiquitous as you would think, though our Aussie and Kiwi friends seem to have retained that bit of Britishness. So, Pass the Parcel is like a childhood game you do at birthday parties where you have a big parcel or gift. The children sit in a circle and it's sort of like musical chairs. You have an adult that essentially is playing a song. As they pass it around, as soon as they stop, whoever is holding the parcel gets to take off a layer. And then when you take off the layer, oh no, it's not actually finished yet. And usually there is like some sort of candy, sweet, or snack or another gift in between that layer, so they take that for themselves. The music goes, and then everyone starts passing it again until, ooh, another layer, and then all of that just, yet again, ends up in a landfill, so yeah, it just feels like a bit of a wasteful sort of thing, but...
No, man, it's fun, it's fun.
When you get to the end, the person gets the big gift at the end and everyone's really happy. It's supposed to be random, but it isn't really. The adult that's in charge basically stops the music to make sure everybody gets a prize. I've never heard of this until I moved to the UK. I do think they have a similar version of this in Canada. Correct me if I'm wrong, Canadians, but Americans, no. Never heard of this in my life. We'll stick to our musical chairs, all right? Thanks. It is cute, though. I like the idea. I just don't care for the unwrapping all this paper. It's like the useless wrapping to unwrap and...
Because the thing is, if the paper is going to end up, recycled, no harm, no foul, right?
Not my thing, okay? What about Christmas? I'd rather use a gift bag. All right, reusable. It sounds like I'm super green. I'm really not. So... Actually, this one's big. Supermarket sandwiches, like you get in a meal deal, really not that thing anywhere else. If they have them, they're terrible quality. That's a bit of a statement considering the quality of the UK ones, but absolutely. Everywhere I've ever been after moving to the UK, I miss the supermarket sandwich. You go to any sort of Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, even Boots, there's a pharmacy. They've got their own meal deal sandwiches these days. Basically, any sort of sandwich you want, pre-packaged up, they're super cheap.
Super cheap. Like Tesco meal deal is like £3. And you get a sandwich, a packet of crisps or chips, and a drink or a candy bar for £3. Bargain. It's not going to fill you up, but I mean, if you don't eat a lot, it could fill you up. That could be your whole lunch sorted.
You get them with a meal deal. It used to be £3 for a sandwich, crisps, and a drink. These days, it's $3.50, sometimes £4. You have some of the posh ones that are like, oh, it's the premium meal deal, where you get a slightly larger sandwich or slightly posher ingredients. But it is actually one of my favorite parts of Britain, if you can believe it, the meal deal sandwich. It's not worth screaming about, but when you miss it, you miss it. You know what I mean? It's actually really funny. The other day when I was at a recording of Tom Scott's Lateral Live podcast somewhere in London, I had a viewer come up to me that was like, hey, I've just flown in from Chicago and I really wanted to get that thing that you were talking about that's so British and good. And I was like, oh.
Wow, he flew here to get the meal deal? No way.
What is it? He was like, a meal deal. Where can I get one? I was like, hey. Imagine coming to Britain for a meal deal. That's like going to America, like first time, and you're like, hey, where are them Costco hot dogs? No. It's just a really convenient thing to get. Like, if you don't have time, you're just like, oh, I just want to eat something real quick. They're a standard of quality. They're not like incredible. The bread's pretty mid and the ingredients are all right, but it hits a spot. Yet again, one thing you need to know about British culture is a lot of it revolves around a comforting adequateness. I've said this before.
Exactly. Just like decent to good. Like, few things are going to blow you away, but most things are like decent to good.
But meal deals are very comforting and very adequate. Proper British culture. Also, you gotta make sure you go for like a smoothie as your meal deal drink. That's like the top tier. These days though, I pretty much just always get the same snack and drink, which is the protein pudding and like some sort of protein drink. It helps me hit my macros real easy. Next up, walking in shorts 24/7, even if it is freezing outside. Oh, sound the alarm. This is a British person who thinks that their life is original, when in fact, no, that is actually not something that is only done in Britain. Back me up, Americans. That's standard, right? I feel like everyone in my high school did that, myself included. It's snow on the ground, I'm wearing shorts, cargo shorts, with flip-flops. You know the patchwork ones, like pink and, that was a big thing when I was in school. Everyone had to wear them. Within 2 years, fashion faux pas. Very sad. Also, Canadians, I feel like they join in. I don't think this is
I think Canadians are big for this one, especially because it's so cold over there. Yeah, I remember watching a video of like, it was like snowing. And yeah, Canadians were just like sitting outside with like shorts on. It's like, probably -1 or -2 Celsius.
A British only thing. In fact, I'm fairly certain Germans do this as well. So, X-nay, nope. Next. All right. Things that are British that are weird everywhere else. We've got having a hot and cold tap. Yes, and that's because everywhere else mostly is living in 2025. I feel like this is a thing that older British homes have, and it is an awful feature. Rather than having one tap that you can say, here's the temperature I'd like. You know, tilt it to the left if you want really hot, tilt it to the right if you want really cold, put it in the middle. You want to just have a nice warm bit of water to wash your hands. Britain, old homes, for some reason prided upon, they have 2 taps, so you can choose, I would like the burning pits of hell heat mixed with the freezing, and you have to kind of be a chemist. It's really silly, let's be honest. It's like...
To be honest, he's right. He's right. I can't think of why you would want a separate hot and cold tap. There's just no reason. Like the single tap that you can, you know, choose the temperature, it's just superior, for sure.
Driving a manual car in 2025. What are you doing? This isn't the 1900s anymore. Ooh! Hot takes! I would say also manual cars. That's not in this list. Brits do pride themselves on using machinery in their cars from before the turn of the century.
Manual cars are just so much more fun to drive.
And they're like, oh, it shows you know how to drive. You have to do all these extra things, and that makes me more valuable as a driver. Now, according to my American and Canadian friends, putting salt and vinegar on chips and putting a flake in an ice cream is unusual. Yes and yes. Didn't know, Brits do have, yes, very, very, very low quality soft serve ice cream as a standard. I have made an entire video about that above, but they try to make up for this with a flake, a Cadbury flake. It's just a flaky chocolate that they put inside. It's not bad. It's in fact sometimes the best part of the ice cream because the ice cream is so mid. When they get
it's not. The ice cream is pretty good.
French fries or chips, they like to douse it in vinegar and salt. Personally, I find this smell abhorrent. It's not even real vinegar a lot of the times. It's just the taste that they like. I've never seen a place in the US that has vinegar with the chips. Good on you, Americans. But also, American ice cream parlors offer way more than a flake in their ice cream. They offer so many better things. Pretzel cones. At some point in the future, I'm hoping to make a vid where I go somewhere up north to a chippy and try all the different chippy toppings, maybe with a friend of mine. Tell me if that's something you're interested in. Maybe I'll get to doing that this summer sometime. Oh, I'm so sweaty. I'm wearing 3 layers. Oh, hey, OP. 48 married father of 2 here, having worked abroad. One of the biggest things in the UK is pedestrians and road use. I don't know what that voice was. Hey, OP. 48-year-old married father of 2 here.
In the UK, there's no... Yeah, jaywalking to me is crazy. If the road is clear, cross the road. Why do you need to... And you can get fined for jaywalking?
Why was that information relevant? So this person's saying one of the biggest things they notice that the UK has that isn't as big a thing everywhere else, pedestrian and road use. Actually, yeah. I would say compared to where I was born and raised in America, the UK is like, I was gonna say a different country. It's like a different country. The UK is leaps and bounds ahead of the US in terms of pedestrian infrastructure. Not in big cities, but very much in loads of towns and places. I feel like it also comes down to the culture because cars on the road that see pedestrians where I live, they immediately like, oh, you know, they try and avoid them. There's a crosswalk and they're respecting the crosswalk. They don't try and rush past it. They're very much like, oh, a pedestrian. There's like a sort of respect there because everyone that drives here, for the most part, also walks here. So you're more familiar with the problems of being on the road. Whereas in the US, because walking is so awful in most 99.9% of places, nobody really walks. And therefore, nobody has a respect for people on the roads that are walking. And therefore, the crosswalks are giant, gargantuan, islandless hellscapes of basically trying not to die, and people just kind of ignore them. It's ridiculous.
Do you guys not have zebra crossings, though, in America? I think I remember seeing some.
ridiculous that even my home state of New Jersey had to make a law that said, hey, you have to stop for pedestrians in a crosswalk. It's the law. And people still don't do it.
Wow.
It's just wild. So yeah, the UK definitely gets points for pedestrian walkability. However, this one I might disagree with. This is supposedly something the UK has that the rest of the world does not. Logical road signs. They just make sense. No. All right, this is where I put my foot down. All right, in my video I did on the Silvertown Tunnel a week or two ago, I showed this clip. And what's interesting about this is that if you're from Britain, you're like, oh, of course, I know what those signs
I mean, that's a bike lane and a walking lane, no?
mean. A bike with a red circle around it, a pedestrian with a red circle around it, of course. If you're an American or someone somewhere else that is used to more logical signage, you'd go, oh, a red circle? Good to go. You're allowed to cycle and walk in
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's so bad. I think it means that you can't walk and you can't cycle on this road because it's a highway.
this road. No, for some reason, Britain have decided to remove the line through it.
Yeah.
No smoking. No, it's a very universal sign,
That's
right?
so
The circle
bad.
with a line through it. Britain goes, we'll just remove the line. Instead of doing this means no.
Yeah, that makes no sense,
Just
to
a
be
circle.
fair.
Illogical, all right?
I
I
agree.
disagree. That is not a good road sign. I'm dying on this hill. F your stupid circle signs. Put a line through it. It makes more sense. Boiled egg in an egg cup with toast soldiers. I've lived in America and Hong Kong, and neither place has heard of this. This is quite a cute thing. I've actually had it now a couple times just because I'd heard about it as a tradition. In the US, we have this breakfast called egg in a nest, where you take a slice of toast and you cut a hole out in the middle, you crack an egg in the middle of it on the frying pan, and then you flip it, and you got this cute little thing that looks like an egg in a nest. The UK equivalent is you cut your toast into thirds, so there you got soldiers, and then you get your soft-boiled egg, put it in a little cup, take a knife to it, and then essentially you dip your soldiers into the egg. It is cute, I will say, but it seems way too much faff.
It is too much faff. It is too much faff. And I don't like runny eggs enough to go through all of the rigmarole.
For what you're getting out of it. I just want to eat my eggs and eat my toast. I don't need to decorate them. I don't need to be like, oh, hello there, Mr. Soldier. Time to dunk you, waterboard you before you go in my mouth. I'm all right, actually. Don't need that. Is it waterboarding? Is it egg boarding? There's probably a yoke there. I just can't find it. Oh, I feel like egg jokes are
Very
too played
good.
out, right?
Very
They're
good.
like, you do one and everyone's like, oh, I've heard all those. I'm a shell of my former self.
Hey, very good. Very good.
Lack of closet space. I don't disagree. Caterpillar cakes. The UK do love caterpillar cakes, like Colin the Caterpillar and all the other spin-offs. This isn't something that I feel like you're gonna miss if you move abroad. It's just like, oh, that's cool. It's a chocolate cake with a face of a caterpillar. It's not really that big a deal. Let's be fair, guys. Come on. And finally, I think we'll go with what OP said here, which is washing machines in the kitchen.
Yeah, this is a big one, but this is because of the lack of space here in the UK. We just don't have the space that you guys have. Like, I think in America, like a 3,000 square foot house or something is like almost like standard. Whereas here, that is like a mansion. I'm not even kidding. Like a 3,000 square foot house, that's like people's forever house that they aspire to get.
That is one that I feel like Americans latch onto online to be like, why do you have washing machines in the kitchen? I don't get it. That it's really not that big a deal. It's more like this is where all the utilities are. And so it just kind of makes sense. In American homes, which are on average like double the size of UK homes, obviously you're gonna have a laundry room. In fact, every place I've ever lived in the States had a laundry room, like its own room just for the washing machine, for the dryer. Actually, where I am now, the washing machine is like in a cupboard next to the kitchen, but that's because it's right next to where the water is piped into my flat. So I guess that also makes sense. But is this also not a thing in continental Europe? Any Europeans want to chime in? Do you have washing machines and dryers in your kitchen? Just curious. I will say, I do hate that most places that I've lived in the UK don't even have a separate washer and dryer. They've been washer-dryer combos.
Yeah, and they are so bad. Like, the dryer is never powerful enough. Like, having a separate dryer is just way better. Way better.
Which, if you've had one, is basically just a washer, but they warm the clothes up. I've never once had a washer dryer that successfully dried it. Everyone's like, oh, you all put less clothes in it. Then what's the point, all right? I'm not trying to do 8 loads of dry. I just hang my clothes out like a normal person on an airer, a clothes horse, whatever you want to call it. Now, the final one I want to talk about is an item that I'd grown so accustomed to seeing in every UK supermarket. You know, whenever you want to get a lunch that's healthy, I understand it's got all the nutrients that my body needs. It's got good protein and such. I just go into any store and I can pick up today's video sponsor, Huel. Specifically, Huel, which has been my favorite for the last 3-4 years.
Fun video. He's right about certain things for sure. Like the first one, the container that they put in the sink, maybe I've seen it in like a soap opera, like EastEnders or something like that, but I've never seen a friend or someone like similar age to me use that because it makes no sense. Just put the plates in the sink, wash the plates and rinse them off. I don't know why you'd use a separate container for that. The laundry room, like we would have them too. I'm in full agreement with Americans here, but we just haven't got the space for it. The average British house, if you've got space for a laundry room, they turn that into a bedroom. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.